It is yet another very early morning for Melissa and I here on the property, and we are hiding back in our shop because we're trying to get away from all of the noise that is occurring outside with the arrival of a concrete truck. We have the concrete apron that's actually being poured out in front of our garage addition build. This is hopefully, crossing our fingers, at least for the foreseeable future, the final major concrete project that we have here on the property.
Yeah, but you never know with us. We're always coming up with new ideas. We also have our roofers that should be arriving anytime, so it's going to be a little surprise for them that there's a concrete truck here that they have to work around. And Jeremy and I are about to make this addition build look very different. We have a lift arriving in a few days, and we also have our windows that will be arriving in the next few weeks. So it is go time as far as getting this addition build right in.
I don't know what's wrong with me. I love the way concrete smells. Fresh concrete when it's still wet.
Concrete in the morning.
I like the smell. It's so weird. These guys are working hard, making really quick work of things. They're currently burying some 1-inch conduit that I got laid last night. That's because we are hoping to run power from the far side of Gabby back under the apron to the front side of the house for a decorative outdoor project that we're hoping to get done eventually. It's going to be really nice to have a flat surface to be walking around on and parking our vehicles on. This chunky gravel that we currently have gets old after a while.
Good morning, sun's rising, don't let the light in. I breathe in this feeling, don't need to fight it. Down on my street, follow my feet, feel the sun on my skin. Bells ringing, birds singing.
So our roofers just showed up and they are kind of walking all over each other now. These two projects were not supposed to overlap, but as schedules have it and ordering supplies and things like that, it's just the way that it played out. So everyone has to get a little creative this morning. We have had a super busy morning already here. We've got the 30-foot apron poured, and the guys are working on getting that nice and smooth because they are going to be doing a brush finish on that, which is going to give it grip for parking and the kids playing and all of that. The roofers have almost all of the main roofing panels installed, so they can move on from there, and we should be wrapping that project up this week. Jeremy and I are going to work on balloon framing the front wall, so our addition build is going to start looking much more complete instead of looking like a big gazebo up there. So we need to go up and do some calculations. I'm pretty sure we need some more materials, which is actually really good timing because before we can actually get our materials up there, we need to let this front apron cure.
Need a broom like that for the shop.
Yeah.
Clean it out. One pull. It's a foot, right?
Yeah, foot between the big window and a little.
3 feet wide now.
Yeah, 36 by 50? 60? That's a lot of rain on our freshly poured apron. Oh my gosh.
I've been here before, this happy ever after. Knocking on the door, no one ever answers. Every stranger smile carry in my mind's eye everywhere I go. Headlong into mystery, following my history back home.
Is that microphone cover?
Hear my heartbeat.
are getting wrapped up today. They have the ridge beams to do and the snow stops, and they should be done. So for the sake of staying out of their way and for just being more productive this week, we have decided to make our supply run today, because that way we can pick up all of the drywall that we're going to need. And we were talking about even buying a refrigerator, which is crazy to even think about putting appliances and everything up there. But if we can get all of that up there now using the tractor while that front wall is open, that would be best, and we don't have to try to haul all that up the stairway. So we're gonna go shopping, and then we're gonna get to work and hopefully be able to close off that entire front wall.
But first, pit stop.
We're also going to the bakery.
That's right. You know what you need?
Donuts.
Some sugar. You know where you're gonna get that sugar?
The bakery.
That's right.
All right, now we're ready. Don't eat blocks.
Make your selection, Mama. Make your selection.
Okay, let's go shopping. It's time.
Working off those donuts.
Jeremy is getting all of the drywall loaded up, and this is very reminiscent of 2 years ago when we were getting all the drywall for the house. He is very, you're supposed to be loading drywall.
I was loading drywall, then these young backs took over, so I'm good.
Okay, so the young backs are loading up all of the drywall, and Jeremy's sitting over here daydreaming about the drywall experiences that he has ahead of him. So we do have a slight change of plan. We were going to get everything loaded up through the front wall before we completely close it off, but we weren't able to get the large shower bath combo that we need or the fridge today. So both of the things need to be ordered, which means we cannot completely close off that front wall. We have a very large center window. So our plan is to frame the entire wall and get the header up for the window, but leave the cripples and the sill out. That way we could still use that opening to load things, and then we'll just finish it off once we get all that stuff.
It's nice concrete. So much nicer. So much better.
So yesterday we noticed this little mama robin bringing up a bunch of sticks and everything, and we just kept brushing it off because she was making a mess. Well, we weren't up here a lot of yesterday, and she built a full-on nest and laid 2 blue eggs, so now she gets to stay, because I'm a sucker for all things. So I'll probably just put cardboard down, hope the cats don't find them, and we can watch them grow. Baby robins.
For framing out this front wall, we're gonna have to balloon frame everything in place once again, just like we did on the back wall here in this structure, just like the front wall and the great room in our home. So we're gonna be tying everything in from the floor up to the bottom of the gable end truss.
Right, so this wall is going to look very similar to the back wall, except for this front wall has one large center window and then a window on each side, but we also don't have that stairwell to contend with, so we don't have to worry about falling down the hole.
Yeah, so in theory, we could frame all the way across, but since we want to leave that center section open where the big window is going to be so that we can get all of our materials and some of our larger appliances up here, we're just going to make it as far as we can, especially since there's apparently a storm that's coming right now.
There is.
Perfect timing.
I have a second to sit down and relax for a minute, and I was just thinking about something that we were talking about over on our second channel, GSL Uncut, and that is happiness and contentment in our daily lives and how that can affect us as far as reaching our everyday goals. There is real power in talking to someone. Getting all of those thoughts outside of your head can make the biggest difference, and that's what talking to a therapist can do for you. And that is why I'm excited to tell you guys about the sponsor of today's video, BetterHelp. BetterHelp's mission is to make therapy not only more affordable, but also more accessible, which is really important because finding a therapist can be tough, especially if you're like us and you live in a rural area where options are limited. BetterHelp is a platform that makes finding a therapist easier because it's online, and by simply filling out a few questions, BetterHelp can match you to a professional therapist in as little as a few days. It's super easy to sign up and get matched with a therapist. So to give BetterHelp a try for yourself, just go to betterhelp.com/GSL or click the link below and you will get 10% off your first month of BetterHelp and just see if it helps you. Because finding a therapist is a bit like dating. If it's not a good fit with your therapist, which is common in therapy, you can switch to a new therapist for free without having to stress your insurance or who's in your network or anything like that. So whether you have a clinical mental health issue like depression, or maybe you're like me and anxiety is something that you battle with, or maybe you're just a person living in the world that happens to be going through a difficult time right now, therapy can give you the tools to approach your life in a different way. Just click the link down in our description below or go to betterhelp.com/GSL, and thank you BetterHelp for supporting our channel. Oh my gosh.
Okay, everything's fine. Everything's fine. Nobody noticed.
I noticed.
It's a new day now. Don't refuse it. Get used to
Pop the bottom plate are in. Start cutting some studs.
those ways now. I'm through with it. Just get used to it, honey. It's not up ahead. It's not
Watch out!
What? What? It was nothing? So I'm trying to be as helpful as possible for Jeremy today. But a few days ago, I was lifting a pot of boiling corn off the stove and the dish towel got stuck in the grate, and then I proceeded to dump the entire pot down my hand. So I scalded my hand pretty good. So a lot of that has recovered and it doesn't really hurt anymore, but I did develop some pretty large blisters, one of which was over my knuckle. And so I was just letting those dry up and trying not to mess with them, and I forgot about it just now when I was putting my shoe on, and I used that finger like a shoehorn, and then I shellacked the skin off of it. So it's super raw, and the unfortunate thing is, I'm gonna spare you guys any B-roll because it is gross. But the unfortunate thing is it's over the knuckle, so anytime that I even slightly bend that finger, it feels like it's on fire. So I'm trying to be very careful so I don't get any infections. My finger hurts.
This first section of wall is completed. We're actually gonna move over to the opposite end and get that framed up as well. The center section is gonna need some longer studs, so we're gonna hold off on that to the very end. Hello, can you go? Woo! Still got it. You broke your back.
Not very
You broke
low
your back.
anymore. I'm sitting on the floor to hide from the wind because although that storm passed over us, it is still very windy. So we did get the opposite side all framed out, and now we're going to start working on the king studs for all 3 windows. We're probably going to wait to do the headers until tomorrow because we're also having a big package arrive tomorrow. 6
Really?
big packages are arriving tomorrow.
Like what?
6 big packages.
Ah, I know what you're talking about. Okay, yeah.
6 big packages.
I like it. It's good, huh?
Yeah, now seeing the windows helps me like kitchen, dining room, living room.
Yeah, that center window's gonna be big.
That's a big window.
Huge. So everybody's outside, we're just minding our own business, trying to enjoy this beautiful summer evening. Kira comes up to me and says that she got stung on her arm, her forearm, by a wasp. And we have a couple of nests that we know of back in the horse shelter. So her brother and I are gonna head over there and avenge the sting, right?
Yeah.
Make it right. They gotta pay. Let's go spray them.
Oh no.
Hey, is that you?
Maybe.
Okay, so we have a bit of a problem. All of our siding arrived, and it arrived on a truck that does not feel confident enough to go up the driveway. Our driveway is curvy, it's 3/4 of a mile, and I totally get it. So we have 6 crates, they weigh 4,000 pounds each, and they are being dumped at the bottom of the driveway almost a mile from our house. We had our neighbor come over with his skid steer to help unload, but very unfortunately there's no way that that skid steer is going to be able to carry 4,000 pound crates times 6 back and forth up the driveway. So all of our siding is at the bottom. If you thought our material was far away in the beginning, our material is very far away now. So we have to figure out how we're going to get all 6 of these crates to our house. It's going to be a long day. All right, so we got all of the crates unloaded in our neighbor's yard. And tomorrow we're going to grab their trailer, and then we're gonna get the skid steer, and we're just gonna take the crates one by one using a trailer up, get them unloaded, run down, grab the next one. It's gonna be a busy morning, but we're gonna get the siding up there. It's gonna be okay. It's just gonna take a little bit longer. All right, so even though none of that went to plan, all is not lost today. We still have 3 windows to frame out. We may hold out on actually placing the large header because it is going to be so heavy, and we have a lift arriving in 3 days. So in 3 days, we need to get busy with all kinds of projects because I think we only have that thing for a week, maybe 2. So it's gonna be a busy, busy time coming up.
Sure don't fall.
Okay.
Yeah. Hold on to my shirt or something. That's not fun.
That's not fun.
Angles everywhere.
Jeremy's gonna go get the saw because we've decided we're just going to shave off about 1/4 of an inch from all of the jack studs instead of trying to rip down the entire header. So all of these angles are a little bit challenging, and it's the reason that we could only go 3 feet wide with these side windows, because had we gone 4 feet wide or 5 feet wide like we wanted to, we would have had to shorten the window significantly because of the length of the header is going to run into that angle as it starts to come down, and then all of our windows would have been sitting on the floor, and that would have looked really weird. So we went a little narrower with the windows, and that way we could have them up at a normal place. Want me to hold your shirt again?
Yeah, please. Oh, right in the face. Yep.
Are you serious?
That was nice.
You want me to do the thing where I hold your shirt?
Do it.
Really?
Hold my shorts this time. Go.
I don't know. I should hold them up.
If I fall, are you coming with me?
If you fall, I fall. It's not as romantic as if you jump, I jump, but
That doesn't sound as good.
it's about like, oh my god, do you hit yourself in the face again?
I did not. That'll do.
Okay.
That will do it.
Let's just call it at that because we got an early morning tomorrow.
As usual. You like it?
Yeah, I think it looks good.
Good, I'm glad.
The next morning, we got to work bringing those 4,000-pound crates one by one up the driveway. The easier way didn't quite work out, but that's okay. Sometimes the only way is the hard way. So we do it the hard way.
That's 1. 5 more.
This build has already presented us with so many little puzzles and challenges, and it makes me laugh to think how blissfully hopeful we were on day 1. We were thinking, we've done this before and it's going to be a breeze this time around. But with the arrival of the siding crates, 4 unfinished walls, and an empty shell, suddenly we are feeling all this pressure of yet another major project before us. That pressure has purpose though. Most pressure in life does if you just change your perspective. You can either allow pressure to crush you, or you can allow it to strengthen you.